Hello and welcome from Budapest. This is Hungary Reports from Public Media M1, bringing you the latest news from Hungary and the Carpathian Basin in English. I'm Matt Batsötsi. Thanks for tuning in. The government says Hungary is using its know-how from battling the first wave of COVID-19 to find itself better prepared for the second wave. Furthermore, people are reminded to wear masks and keep their distance from others to avoid mass infection, as well as possibly saving people's lives.
The start of the school year has been a success thanks to the increased safeguards and maintaining hygiene regulations. That's what the State Secretary at the Cabinet Office of the Prime Minister told public media's Kossuth Radio. Híradó said that at the same time Hungary should prepare for a protocol multi-front struggle as there's still no mass-produced vaccine available. Many may have had the impression that the virus had a summer break. However, the government did not, and therefore the second wave is finding us better prepared than in the spring. At the beginning of the year, we were up against an unknown enemy, but today we know more, and so our preparedness is also at a higher level. Híradó said that there are now three fundamental goals in the battle: to protect the elderly, to guarantee normal education, and to restore the economy to its previous level, which also means protecting jobs. In this Budapest grocery store, a sign right at the entrance tells shoppers that it is mandatory to wear a mask on the entire premises. I think everyone can handle that in a store while making their purchases, and it's better to be wary than make people upset. Therefore, I think that it's better to go for prevention, so I support wearing a mask, this shopper said. Even though most people stick to the rules made because of the pandemic, there are still a lot of people not wearing face masks in stores or not keeping their distance from other people there. Such persons don't only put themselves at risk, but they also put others in danger, like store employees. That's what the president of the country's independent union of retail workers told public media TV's M1. This group of employees is the most at risk since they could come into contact with thousands of people, and over a month even with 1 million, Híradó said. Híradó added that it could happen that a cashier doesn't wear a mask, but in cases like that, a plexiglass barrier would separate that person from shoppers.
Regulations because of the pandemic have so far helped schools operate as before, said government spokesperson Alexandra Szentkirály. She made her remarks in a video uploaded to her social media page. She says part of the defense against the pandemic includes using disinfectant right at school entrances, maintaining proper distancing, and providing regular air circulation. Szentkirály also pointed out that if online schooling will have to be re-implemented at some time, then daycare will also be provided.
The aim of the government is to avoid everyday restrictive measures while protecting people against the pandemic and to protect the health and workplace of the Hungarian people. It is also in the interest of children and parents that schools keep operating. We thank the students, parents and educators for their cooperation and the way they stood their ground in the last couple of months. Let's try and take care of each other.
One person has died and 3 others have been severely injured in a freak hot air balloon accident in Val in Fehér County near Budapest. The balloon had somehow caught fire and first landed with almost everyone managing to scramble out of the gondola except one person who was again whisked up in the air. Some of you might find the visuals you're about to see disturbing.
Dense black smoke came out of the basket of the burning hot air balloon, which drifted helplessly for minutes between Val and Híradó in Fehér County. It is clear from the recording uploaded to the internet that after a while the shape of the dome changed, which then started to fall towards the ground. Locals said explosions could be heard in both villages. The explosion was around 6:50. My wife heard it in the garden. Then a few minutes later we heard the awful sound of ambulance sirens, this local explained. The tragedy happened on Saturday night during a sightseeing flight with 4 travelling on board. After the aircraft crashed, the pilot tried to put out the fire while 3 passengers managed to get out of the basket, but one man couldn't get out as the hot air balloon suddenly took flight once again. By this time, several reports had been received by disaster relief workers, who then arrived at the scene. The municipal firefighters of Vali followed the hot air balloon burning in the air and found it in the Val area in the cornfield. The aircraft was partially burned and had crashed by then. During the incident, several explosions were heard. The gas cylinder used to operate the hot air balloon had exploded, Onet Szabó Bistrit said. Seeing the flames, off-duty firefighters in the area also hurried to the scene, where they found the 3 survivors who were handed over to the ambulance services. Arriving ambulance units found 4 injured, 2 women and 1 man suffered severe burns, 2nd to 3rd degree burns covering 20 to 25% of their bodies, and a 4th injured whose identity could not be clearly clarified on the spot. He, unfortunately, had died from his injuries, the spokesperson of the National Ambulance Service said.
mentődobozt, ilyen tűzoltó, lángálókendőt, tűzoltó palackot.
The safety equipment is shown by the president of the Hungarian Hot Air Balloon Association. Péter Nagy said that the technical condition of the devices is inspected by civil air authorities every year. Therefore, failures occur only very rarely. This is the most serious accident in the domestic history of this type of an aircraft, which spans almost 50 years.
Az elmúlt
In the last 30 to 40 years, we've trained nearly 400 to 500 pilots, carried thousands of passengers into the air every year, and shown the country from a perspective that might not be possible from any other flying aircraft. Yet, no such tragic accident has ever happened before, Péter Nagy said. The question as to why the hot air balloon ignited and crashed from the sky will be looked at by the National Disaster Management.
Monday sees the start of a joint police cleanup operation in 19 countries of the European Union. It's run by the European Association of Railway Police Forces, or Railpol, and Hungarian forces will also take part. Railway police forces will be checking train station surroundings, train passengers, and they'll also be paying special attention to ensure that everyone follows the rules at train crossings. The goal of the exercise is to also strengthen the safety of train travel, as well as being on the lookout for criminal acts, such as attacks on ticket takers, vandalism, and metal being stolen from railways that are then sold to scrap metal dealers.
The aim of international action at the European level is, among other things, to ensure the safety of rail transport and, of course, to check the rules regarding crossing for road users, including pedestrians, cyclists, drivers and conductors.
Almost 500 people in Hungary tested positive for COVID-19 on Saturday. The good news is that no one died from the disease. However, there are more infected people. The current count is more than 3,800, and of those, 151 are being treated in hospitals, 11 of whom are on ventilators. Countless fake news reports about the COVID-19 pandemic can be found on the internet. In fact, it only takes a few seconds for them to be widely distributed. That's why Hungary's National Media and Info Communications Authority is launching a campaign this month to help people disseminate what is real news and what is fake. And that's all for now from Hungary Reports, but we're back live every night at about 11:20 p.m. Central European Time, and you can always catch us in repeats and online as well. Please stay tuned if time permits. We also have programs in German, Russian, and Chinese. Thanks very much for watching, and minden jót.